Hey gang, with CitCon just a couple days away now, I thought it would be a good time to talk about what will be happening on this channel during the event. So if that sounds good, let's get this. To start with, CitCon is hitting this weekend, and here's what's coming up on this channel. I was debating popping down to LA this year, being that's just south of me on the coast, but the timing didn't work out so well. My work and other things have been planned for a couple years just kind of took over the schedule before I decided to buy a ticket down. And besides, I have a feeling that next year's CitCon will probably be in Frankfurt. And since I more or less spent my childhood in Germany as a military brat, growing up around the Frankfurt area, it would be cool to head back there. I mean, the last time I was in Germany, it was the Cold War, and Germany was two countries with a big wall in between them. So no in-person CitCon for me this year, but probably yes if there's a big Frankfurt Squadron 42 launch party next year. Instead, like most streamers and content creators, I'll be live streaming the thing here on YouTube, hopefully with members of the Carnival popping in and out. Just because the schedule should have some gaps in it, I fully expect people to be dropping in and out, and there to be big breaks, or at least some breaks where there will be time to say, okay, back in 20 minutes or so when the next panel starts up. I also figure we'll have discussions after a panel, particularly if it's something especially mind-blowing, unexpected, or game-changing. Just looking through the schedule, which I'll get to in a second here, I expect the big ticket things to be things that aren't currently listed on this schedule. A Squadron 42 launch date and 4.0 hitting the PTU. Hopefully there isn't a lot of this is what plant life will look like on Pyro 3, or here's some concept sketches of new asteroids. While I really love the art, one thing I'm really hoping for is some insight on new content, actual game loops, and things that will change how we actually play the game and interact with the game. Radar and scanning, the UI fixes, those are the things that I'm hoping for. I seriously doubt we're going to hear anything about new game loops, though. So after a panel that's interesting but not really relevant to that aspect, I fully expect to be jumping into the verse of the Carnival to kill time in between panels. Finally, Star Citizen has always been a visually impressive game. The thing that's been lacking is things to do, actual game loops and actual content. I expect that to change as server meshing comes into reality. And that's what I want to hear the most about. So will we? Well, let's get into the schedule itself. So on Saturday morning from 9 to 11, the doors open. I am guessing this will probably just be devs wandering around having awkward conversations with awkward people, but honestly there'll probably be a nugget or two in there for people that are really paying attention, but probably not. It'll mostly just be people at the microphone saying, what do you think of this? And the person saying, it's neat, 42, that'll probably be it. I'll probably be eating on stream at this time, so be sure to tune in for some great ASMR chewing noises, because I am nothing if not a professional. From 11 to 12:30, things actually get caught up. I don't really expect Shaping the Verse, the future of Star Engine, to take up a full hour and a half, but this should be the keynote, and well, it might. Should be some good things to talk about here, but we might not get a chance before the next panel because CR tends to go long. So at 12:30, Fix It and Fly It starts up, and this is probably one of our better shots, or our best shot, at a discussion about new game loops. Not only will this be involving the engineering and multi-crew gameplay, but it might actually focus in on repair and that game loop. That said, if this is all just conceptual and not the game loop in action in engine, I might be a little bit disappointed here. So book a little bit of time after this panel for sobbing noises and blubbering from me. At 1:30, we got the cosplay competition. So I'm probably going to lose my nerd card for this, but these things are usually pretty awkward. But yeah, there's some cool parts too. And I guess we'll see if CitCon is actually evolved to the point where we start seeing people that are making 9-foot tall Van Duel walking around the venue kind of things. But I mostly expect it's going to be people in homemade UEE uniforms cosplaying as military guys. This will probably be a good time to chat about shaping the verse and fix it and fly it while running 321 in the background with the carnival. From 2 to 3 is lunch, and yeah, I'll probably be jumping into 3.21 with the crew for another hour while eating on stream. Again, I'm a professional. From 3 to 4, talking ship is kind of a mainstay for CitCon, as the ships are kind of the focus of the game to this point. I mean, if I truly wanted this channel to blow up, I'd just talk about ships all the time. So ships are a big deal. I expect them to spend a little bit of time talking about the new ships dropping, which sounds like it'll probably be the scout and exploration variants of the cutter, along with what I'm guessing will be a medium to large concept only ship. They might mention the 600i for a hot minute, maybe talk about the X1 bike, but I expect the bulk of the talk to be around the Polaris. I'm guessing they'll also chat a little bit about the Apollo, which looks like it'll sneak in before the Perseus or the Galaxy, which should be the next big ships up after the Polaris. Hopefully this talking ship comes with some thoughts on a new pipeline. And while I'm not holding my breath for this, maybe something about the Banu Merchantman. I suspect we'll hear the 600i and the BMM still have pins in them though. From 4 to 5, kind of wrapping up the day, we have Navigating the Verse. And this is the one that I have high hopes for. This will be the panel that'll be showing off the new UI, hopefully for the HUD, the mobiGlas, the MFDs, scanning a radar, and so on. This will either be an incredible panel or incredibly disappointing if all they have is a few sketches and concepts of what they want the new UI to be. Given that these have been on the deliverables for over 2 years of dev time, 3 in some cases, I'm really hoping for tangible demonstrations that are very nearly in our hands and possibly even dropping in the next month or two, or into the PTU as we watch this. After 5, we have a suspiciously long gap between Navigating the Verse and the venue closing at 7. That said, and I know I suspected there will be a Squadron 42 announcement around here, if Navigating the Verse runs a full hour, there might not be a lot of time for another big ticket item. Still, I'm guessing this gap in the schedule between those 2 items is intentional. And I'm thinking we'll get the launch window for Squadron 42 here. Day 1 would make a lot of sense, and about the only thing that would hold it back is if CIG didn't think they could land it, Squadron 42 launch date, by Q4 of next year, which is a real possibility. CIG wants a clean launch of that IP, and they're willing to eat bad press in the meantime to reach that goal. So hopes up, but don't hold your breath. The day might actually end at 5 p.m. and that'll be it until Sunday. For my part, I'll probably stick around for a bit and answer questions or engage in rampant speculation or expectations for day 2, but this channel isn't huge, so I'm not expecting to be swarmed by thousands of people asking questions like a board game or AMA. But I'll be here if you want to chat. So day 2, Sunday, it's got a lot of goodness in here, at least if the descriptions are to be taken literally. After last year, though, I'm tamping down my expectations a little. Even so, let's take a look. So 9 to 11, doors open. Again, more awkward interviews with people not used to interviewing people and people that aren't used to being interviewed. And trust me, it's an art on both sides of that equation. But again, there might be nuggets of information in there. Still expect some loud live Don Steeler chewing noises during this time. So you're welcome for the ASMR. From 11 to 12, we're going to get character advancement, which is one that I'll personally be interested in. Probably the weakest aspect of Star Citizen outside of the actual content in the game loops is the character creation. While they mention the hair tech in the description here, and that's definitely something I've been looking forward to, what I'm really hoping for here is greater variety in body types and appearances. Facial hair, tattoos, the actual size of the characters, and lose the Ace Ventura hair. I mean, it lost its humor sometime around 3.1. We'll get a peek at the new Outlaw clothing, which goes along with my own style, but I'm curious if they'll talk more about why our characters should ever get out of our armor in the first place. Probably not in this manual. That said, as someone that's actually done character work in animation in the past, this panel will be an interesting one for me, regardless of where it goes. After that, from 12 to 1, life in first person, I'm guessing this one will be involved with more animation. So when you click a button using interaction, you'll actually see your hand come out and hit that button or flip that switch. We'll probably see more on all the traversal things we've been seeing on the roadmap during the year. So climbing ladders, sliding, swimming, prone, and hopefully some update on what's going on with EVA, which I was actually expecting to get this year, but still expect a lot more impressive weapon handling, maybe stripping and filling mags, or just interactions in general. CR's always been a big fan of fidelity, and actually having your toon interact with the world around them as expected is a huge part of that. This one, like character animation, is personally interesting me, but I'm also hoping these are things that are dropping into our hands literally in a couple months rather than just sketches of what they want it to look like. And that's going to be the theme of my expectations. So last year, I was thinking a lot of the things at CitCon would be in our hands soon, like actually soon and not years away. But of the panels in last year's show, the only things we got from that entire production during the year was the new lore vault. So don't get me wrong, it was really pretty and badly needed upgrade, but seeing new investigation missions, the new underground, resource management, and Pyro, that would have been better. So yeah, from this CitCon, I'm hoping we're going to see things that are actually going to be coming in the nearest future. So in the next 3 to 6 months. That said, moving on. From 1 to 2, and speaking of, taking flight is the top choice for things we'll probably be getting in the very near future, if not during the PTU during CitCon. I'm fully expecting this to not only have master modes, which are currently in Arena Commander, but also atmospheric flight. This is one that I'm expecting to hit pretty quickly because, well, this game is a flight simulator at heart, and the flight model is okay, but not great. Hopefully this panel will be taking a step towards greatness. I mean, clock's ticking on this one, especially with the Squadron 42 release date looming out there somewhere. Should be an interesting panel, and here's hoping the changes are imminent and not conceptual. So at 2, more ASMR chewing noises from Dawnstone. I also suspect I'll be jumping into the verse of the carnival and chatting about what we just watched, pretty much all the panels from that Sunday. From 3 to 4, we go full Aerosmith with Living on the Edge. This one's kind of a dark horse for possible favorite. It kind of comes down to which team is putting it on. If it's the narrative team, it'll be interesting, but it's way easier to just write about how everything will feel, act, and look, but it's another monster entirely to make it happen. I mean, I can talk about Betty, the frontier mother of 5, who's keeping her homestead and ranch of space cows safe from rustlers and big corporations, but good luck actually turning that into compelling, realistic gameplay for an MMO. But if this is about frontier towns, how NPCs will act towards players with different reps, that's a different story. That said, I'm definitely expecting this one to be more of the former. It'll be interesting and fluff-worthy, but I'm not fully sure that it'll be entirely relevant to what we'll eventually experience in the game. I'm hoping to be pleasantly surprised though, and I do love a good story, and this narrative team is pretty kick-ass. So from 4 to 445, This one is Destination Adventure, is short, so it's suspiciously short. That said, it's totally possible all of the panels that we've seen so far are around 30 to 45 minutes long, and they just baked in breaks. But this one's truly this short, well, adventure awaits. Huzzah! Honestly, this one's really hard to get a read on, and just from the description, it sounds like it'll be kind of a trailer of what's to come eventually one day. So I think that this one will probably just be more of what Board Gamer and gang use as background videos for their videos for the next year. From 4:45 to 5:30, again with only 45 minutes, this one seems short, especially for a CR closing ceremony. With the venue actually closing at 5:30 though, and I fully expect that to be a hard cap, CR won't be able to go long here. So what will this be? I'm not totally sure. That said, it's completely and totally possible that they have something pre-recorded that could go quite a bit longer. There is the VIP and after party that's supposed to happen at the LA studio space clear until 11 p.m., but I don't expect all that to be live. I also don't expect them to have an hour-and-a-half break between content. So a 45-minute closing speech from CR. I'm dubious. One thing this could be, and again, temper your expectations, is that CR comes out and says, 4.0 is on the PTU, go wild, and walks off the stage, just drops the mic, spikes the football, and goes to the party at the LA studio. Will that happen? No idea, but we'll find out together. I do think this would be the best time for 3.21 to go live and 4.0 to hit the PTO. Maybe. Possibly. And that's all I have for now. Catch me on Saturday morning for some loud chewing. I love you all.